The X-Eon Warsight is the epic X-Eon, and this is a pretty sought after weapon not only because of its unique sight, but also because it is the only X-Eon variant with reduced recoil, and a lot of people feel like this gun just has a little bit too much recoil to be effective. Aside from stability, its epic perk is an optic that counters active camo, cold-blooded, and hardwired. Basically, it counters everything that is supposed to counter thermal and like the base X-Eon sights. So it's very good. There's nothing that's going to stop you from being able to like shoot people through smoke. You will see anyone through smoke that you want to see, and that's very effective because a lot of people who use cold-blooded or hardwired think they're hidden, when if you're using the X-Eon Warsight, they really aren't. Just as a gun, I think the X-Eon is pretty okay. Like, it's not bad, but it's not good either. It has good damage and a good fire rate, but there are guns that are better. But when you add in the fact that it has the thermal optic for free that allows you to see people through smoke, and this epic variant obviously is the one that counters other things that let you see through smoke, becomes very effective, and it's very good in niche circumstances when you're going to be taking advantage of smokes. And on my class for this weapon, I'm definitely going to recommend you use smoke grenades. The damage and range for this weapon is okay. It'll be a 4 to 5 hit kill, a 4 hit up to 34.3 meters just for the base, 25.7 meters if you have a suppressor, and then 41 meters if you have particle lamp. In general, I don't think particle lamp is necessary, and silencer can be okay on this weapon. You just have to evaluate whether or not that loss of range is worth it for you. Overall, I think 34 meters for a 4-hit kill for this weapon is very good, and then it's a 5-hit from then on. When you're aimed on sights, it fires at 714 RPM, which is pretty good for the assault rifle class. An example is the K-bar shoots at 731 RPM, so it's only slightly slower than the K-bar, and many people consider the K-bar a pretty high fire rate weapon. If you are unaimed in, it shoots at 500 RPM, which is slow. Like if you're hip firing, it shoots very slow at 500 RPM. That's not very good. You're definitely going to want to be ADSing because that's when your time to kill is going to be at its best. When you're hip firing and you have a 4-hit kill at 500 RPM, you're going to lose out to a lot of things. Like the only slower assault rifle is the Volk, but that weapon has a very good 3-hit range. So that's the trade-off. You're like losing out on damage and you're not really gaining anything. You're getting the more accurate hip fire, but I don't think it's worth it. I think it's just better to ADS all the time and get your extra rate of fire. So as you can see, like I said earlier, this is just a very like okay gun. It has good damage and a good fire rate, slightly slower than the K-bar, but it has slightly higher 4-hit range. So I mean, it's a good gun overall, but when you add in the fact that it has the thermal optic for free, it becomes very deadly. My class setup for this weapon is quick draw stock and foregrip. We're not going to put any sights on this weapon because of the built-in sight that it comes with is where the perk is. If you put on like a red dot or an ELO, you lose that perk that it comes with, so you definitely want to stick with the epic sight that it comes with because that's where like this weapon really gets out of hand. We're going to have a smoke grenade as our tactical, and we're going to have ghost, scavenger, and cold-blooded. The reason we're having cold-blooded is to counter other people that put on thermal sights to try to counter our smokes. And then our rig, we're going to use the warfighter with the resupply trait and whatever payload you want. The resupply trait is really what's key because that allows you to get smoke grenades off of people you kill, so you can just keep replenishing smoke grenades. And when you're shooting through smoke, you have a very large advantage because you have the epic perk and you can see people and they can't see you. Unfortunately, it doesn't make people like red if they have cold-blooded. Normally people just highlight are red, and if they have cold-blooded, they're not. But basically what this weapon does is it just puts a box on everyone, and then even if they have cold-blooded or hardwired, they still have that box. So unfortunately, it's not as obvious as just a glowing red person, but you can still like see it through smoke, and it's still very effective. If you don't like having stock on your weapon, you could put on silencer in that slot so people are less likely to see your tracers when you're shooting through the smoke. But in general, you just want to play around your smokes as much as possible. Put smokes on choke points where you know people are going to be. Put it in the middle of the map where you know people are going to be. It's basically put a smoke between you and the enemy in every fight you're in, and you're going to have a huge advantage because you can see them and they can't see you because you have cold-blooded. And even if they have cold-blooded or hardwired or anything like that, you can just see them anyway. So like I said, that's basically it for this weapon. There's not really anything special you have to do to take advantage of this weapon's perk. You can do a lot of nifty things in like search and destroy and objective game modes that just revolve around like strategies using this. But in pretty much every game mode, the more smoke you put out, the better you're going to be doing because you can see through it and other people can't. Just very chaotic for them, and for you, you're just lining up your shots very easily. And when you put on foregrip with this weapon along with the stability perk, it has very little recoil. And I already touched on previously, it has a good fire rate and good damage. So it's a very good gun overall, and when you put on the smoke, it's like a fucking beast. Because, like I said several times, nothing can see you, but you can see them. That's why we have cold-blooded, and we have resupply so we can get our smokes back all the time. Sorry this is a short video, but there's really not that much to talk about with this weapon other than the fact that play around your smokes and you'll be getting free kills. And that's just, it's pretty self-explanatory from then on. Thanks for watching this video. Please like it if you enjoyed it.